Okay, troops, welcome to the Room of Doom. I call this the Room of Doom because this is where things get dismantled, sometimes rebuilt and sometimes scrapped. But we're going to be doing these K1 fork seals, so let's take a look at what tools we need first. Okay, so I'm going to show you the important tools you need for this job. One is a bowl to drain your oil in, and the other, there are two tools you need for this job which are majorly important. I have made my own. You can buy these online. I'll put a link in the description to where you can purchase these tools from. Okay, and it all depends on how big your wallet is for what quality you require. Now, this tool here is one that I have made myself because I like to make my own tools myself. If I've not got a tool for a job, I don't want to be closing the task down and waiting days or weeks to find the correct tool for it. So I'll go ahead, dip into my scrap box and make my own tools like I've done with this one here. This is a fork spring compression tool. I'll show you how it works when we get the fork seal. Now, this here, well, it was actually a spray gun stripping spanner thing which I have butchered with the angle grinder and done a little bit of hammering to it. This is what locks the locking nut that holds the compression damping rod in, and we'll show you how this works. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description so you can purchase these before you start work. Okay, let's take a look. I'm not going to strip the fork in this position. I'm merely going to unscrew this fork leg cap so I can show you how my spanner, my compression tool works. Okay, so inside the shower forks here, it looks like it's a bit scratched out. Someone's been battling with it. You get this spring collar thing. Well, I don't know what it's called, but you get a spring collar thing, and you need to pull this down in order to get this cap off. Okay, usually on the old conventional forks or dirt bike forks, you'll get a spring just hitting right up here, and the 17mm nut is quite simple to get to. But these are heavy springs, powerful K1000 springs, so we need some force in that. Right. Okay, so as you can see, this tool here is very well engineered by myself. I put some welding around there, just strengthen it up. What this does is it slots on like that, and I tighten these up. And what they do, these pins, well, this is fully strippable, by the way. I'll just loosen it off so I can give you a better demonstration. So this is fully strippable, and what these pins do, you can wind them in. They all fit most of the shower forks now, in fact all of them. You get these on the Triumphs as well. So you wind those in like that, and as you can see, these two pins grip these holes here. I could actually bring that around this side so you can see better. Wind those in there, just like that. Try and even them out a little bit, actually. One's out more than the other. There we go, wind those in there. And I shall lock my grabby things off. Grabby things. That's now locked in there, and I can now pull down on this. Now, it's hard to pull down it here. You see that? That now grips the spring. So I can't do this here. I need to drop it down on the floor. I'm going to show you how then I use this little tool here. Okay, so got our spring gripper collar thing all attached now. Notice on here I've got this little bit of box steel section that I've cut out. That is to hold under here. So the reason being, if I try and compress this on the ground, this fork cap will follow it down, so you can't get to the nut. So what I'm going to do with that, you can simply hang it on here like this. Then all I have to do is push right down. That'll leave the fork cap in place. Okay, so I can push right down, just like that, and now I'm going to sit this collar underneath that nut. All right. Next thing I'm going to do, it might be difficult for you to see what I'm doing here, but next thing I'm going to do is put my thumbs on here, a slight bit of pressure, and I'll pop this in. Just like that. So that has now gripped that nut under there, that 17mm nut. Can you see it? And that's not going to go anywhere. I can take this compression tool off if I like. I'm going to leave it on there for now. And we're going to remove this nut. So I'm going to place this back in the vise, just in here. And tighten that up. Not to crush it. Right, it looks like someone's had a good go at this before and made a little bit of a mess of it round here, but we've got the correct tools for the job. Right, 17mm spanner for this nut down here. and we've got a 30mm socket for the top, or your fork wrench spanner thing. I'm going to use this because there's a little bit more torque involved. I'm not going to use it. Wow, alright. Right, that's not supposed to be loose like that. It may have come loose when we slackened it off earlier, but that really should not be loose. But it is. So that may have not entirely been down tight in the first place. But okay. I wouldn't use an impact gun on top of these, because what happens is I can see someone's using an impact gun on top of there. You can see where the impact gun has damaged the nut on the top and scorned it, so I don't like that. One pet hate of mine is when we get fork caps that are scratched to bits. It's awful. I don't like buying bikes like that. So that is off there, so happy days. Would have been worse if the thread was stripped, but no, it seems fine. That looks like it's just not been tightened up correctly. Either that, or we've just loosened it anyway. So yeah, usually 17mm spanner on that locking nut there. Crank that round with a good old torque bar, and it should be good to go. Okay, Casey, what I've noticed there is some tie wraps on the back of this. I'll show you what they are actually for. They're there for a reason. I'm going to press down on this again and pull it out like that. And we've got our fork cap all disassembled. Okay, back to the bench. So what I want to be doing now is getting this bowl down there to get those, get all the oil in. I'm going to remove my spring cap. So what I usually do with forks is, they're all usually the same, but what I like to do is put everything in order as it's been disassembled, so we know where it all goes. There's no surprises then. Sit that down. Just going to remove all the components, don't want nothing dropping in the bucket. So it's time to tip the oil out now. Okay, I'm going to leave that secured in the vise there so all the oil drains out. What I'm going to do now is start stripping the other fork. Okay, same with this fork now. This one's a little bit cleaner in there, so looks like no one's butchered this one. Let's get that clamp tightened up. Happy days. Right, so that's good to go. We'll just give it a quick test. Yep. Let's get our little tool and do the same thing with this. Easy, easy, isn't it? What I always do is put the spanner level with this grabby handle thing here, so you can get more leverage into it. These may be tight first time. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so I might as well leave that on there, to be fair. I'm going to use it again, so... Right. Alright, troops, so K1 forks are different to most other bikes. Usually, to remove the fork seals, you would just simply pull on this until the fork leg comes apart from the stanchion tube and leaves the seal and the spacers on here. But on these ones, on the K1, you just pull it and there's no resistance there whatsoever. But you can simply pull the whole thing out here, just like that, getting oil all over. All right, then you can simply rip your dust seal out and remove your clip out of the leg. Okay, for the moment I don't need these because I'm going to be concentrating on removing the seals out. Don't be worried about losing this damping rod down there. You can just simply retrieve it like that. You won't lose out on it. Right, it's time to pull the seals out. I'm going to show you another little hack. So I'll get a big spanner. I've got a 20mm spanner here, 21mm, sorry. I'm just going to wrap this round here, so I'll show you why. I'm going to put the spanner inside underneath the fork seal itself and simply push down here. I've got this on so I can protect the fork leg. That should pop out just like that. Same with the other one. There we go. That's the seals completely out. I'm just going to give these a wipe out to get rid of as much of the old oil as possible. I usually wrap some tissue in there and give it a bit of a pull through. I use the aluminium damping rod to push that through there just to get rid of that old oil. There we go. That's one spotless. Happy days. So that's those all clear. I'll just clear these rings. All right. Okay, we've given that a wipe. Most people put bags on them, wrap paper around them, all this malarkey, but all you need really is a bit of insulation tape just to cover the rim on here. You can get a seal saver, I think Motion Pro do, a little cap that goes over forks, but it's not something I'm going to invest in. Just a simple bit of tape wrapped around here. Only wrap it around once, insulation tape. That is literally all you need. Don't be worried about anything else. You do get a little bit of grease in the packaging, wherever that is. I'm going to use this because you could literally dip your finger in the oil and rub that on, but I'm going to use this because I've got so many of these packets of grease now. I'm just going to start using them. Get that round there. It's good to get the grease on it because you can never be quite sure if you rip these or not by putting them on. Right, where's my new seal? Right, dust seals, dust seals. Again, I always change the dust seals. See, the old one had no resistance hardly whatsoever. I always change the dust seals. I don't know why some people just get the fork seals alone, saving money I suppose. Okay, so again we're just going to make sure we've got the right seal, the old one's over there, and make sure the lettering is pointing down towards the stanchion tube. And all we're going to do is twist this on. There we go. Up and down with it a little bit. This may look rude. Yes, it may look rude to some. Okay, right, what I'm looking for now, I'm just going to turn this round and make sure that seal isn't pinched or anything like that. It's all good. There we go. Time to remove the tape now. It's a bit hard when your hands are all slippy. Get tape out of there. And we'll get him in. And oh, we've got a little bit more oil coming out, haven't we? Push him in there. Just like that. Okay, so push a seal down as much as I can, try and jiggle it in, get it straight. Next thing I'm going to do is take my fork seal driver and get that in there. They're a bit of a pain, these, because of the brake caliper mount. It can drop and smash into your hands, so watch your fingers. Seal drive it and give that a bash. That's gone in. You will get oil still pissing out the bottom. Next thing I'm going to do, now this seal is not fully down. What I'm going to do is put my retaining clip in now. Just like that. Retaining clip in. And then when I hit it with the slide hammer, it should knock that retaining clip right into its position. If you have to use excessive force to get this seal in, then it's not in straight. And if it's not in straight and you're struggling, just turn, literally, if you've got one of these fork seal drivers, just turn this round and try and apply pressure to the end that is not straight, and it might line it up. Give it some welly. Right, that, I'm just checking round there now. It's hard for you to see this on the camera, but I'm just checking. You can't see, obviously it's dark. Just checking the seal, the sealing ring, the locking ring, is actually in position. It's all locked into its groove there. Get into the groove, as Madonna would say. Right then, put our dust seal on. I'm happy with that. It's time to assemble it. Alright troops, we're going to get these things full of oil now and get them zipped back together. Welding wire. Very useful welding wire, not just for welding. So I've got two ends on here. One is for simply sticking in there and hooking that out. Flip that over. Now I've got that on my threads there. I can pull this in and out and work it, can't I? Yes, so this is what we're going to be doing. Sorry, this is what I'm going to be using to bleed the air out of it. Again, some people use wire, stuff like that, but a thin bit of welding wire just pinched on the end it'll make you a good tool. Right, so I'm going to put about 400 mil in here. That's a 500 mil, half a litre oil bottle. Let some of that air come out of there first. So I can hear all that air popping and plopping out of there. It's gone a bit silent now. Let's get our little tool in here. In and out. Get rid of that. Let's take all the oil in. You can see how it's starting to slow down now. That means some of the air is coming out of there. And give it a little bit more and top up. More air coming out of it. Now it's starting to feel resistance on there. It's working good as that now. It's quite similar to doing brakes this. You've got to make sure all the air is out, and sometimes people throw forks back together. I want to find there's still air trapped in them. It should feel nice and smooth and controlled, not bump when it gets to the end. That feels good, that. I believe most of that air is out of there now. Okay. So we've got quite a lot left to go. I'm going to keep filling this up. I think it's about half a litre goes in here, so that's 400 ml in there now. Just going to keep purging that air out. And give this a measure. So one of the tools that I've not got yet, troops, is a fork oil level syringe thing. I should get one really. I've not made one. I have got stuff to make one, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to use these verniers. I dip it like a dipstick, so I am not a dipstick, by the way. That's not touching that, so a bit more in there, top it up. It is 500 ml, but I like to get these accurate. I can actually see inside where this is going. I think we're just there. Give that a wipe. Oh, that is practically bang on. Only a little bit left in here. Might as well dip that in there as well. And give it another measure. And the simple thing with this is if you get too much in there, just tip it out. Gonna force that oil in there. So I'm making sure my damping rod is fully seated at the bottom of the fork before I get my final level. Nice, spot on. Right. Okay, now I need to fish this out again. Just going to watch it drop on its own first. Make sure all the air is out of there. That feels good. Okay, I'm just going to show you something here actually. So I've bent the welding wire down. I'll show you why I've done that in a minute. I'm just holding this here because I just want to show you what I'm doing. And place it down like that. This may not look simple to you, but believe me, off camera it's a lot easier. I'm just trying to show you the best way I possibly can. So what I'm going to do is seat that in there. Just hook that on the end of the vise. What I want to do is, again, just lock this into position. Ready? There. Okay, so I've got that on in a nice and controlled manner. You can see there I've got this trapped underneath the bolt, underneath the nut, sorry. What I'm going to do now is put the fork cap on. I'm going to spin the fork cap. Then we're going to go back down here in reverse, alright? Let's get ready to push that on. There we go, happy days. Right. So So what I'm going to do now is just turn my 17mm nut down compress that even more. And just screw this fork cap down till it stops. There we go. So that's bottomed out now. I'm not going to over tighten it. I'll simply tighten the nut to the fork cap. Just a bit. And take this. There we go. Then we are going to do my little fork thing retrieving tool in a wanna. Alright. Okay, and that's completely done. Screw these out now. Okay, so you've seen me do the first one. I'm going to go for the second one here. Where's my little bending welding wire? Alright. Fish that out of there. Just going to give it another drop. Okay, make sure this nut is wound up. I'd leave about 4 threads at the top, something like that, just to put your cap on. Wind this up, it's easy to compress it, alright? So next thing we're going to do is get the spring in. Just like that. So I'm going to sit my wire underneath the nut, not on the threads. Drop that in there. And then try to do this all in a wanna. I hope I'm making this look easy for you. So get this nut taken right down again. Whoop. Slippy hands. All right. So that couldn't have gone any smoother, could it? Tighten these up. I've got my fork cap spanner, it's in the other room, but I'll just use this for now. Right, that's both fork seals done. I'm going to give this a wipe down now. I'm going to further tighten the fork caps up when they're on the bike, so I'll use a fork leg spanner for that. So, give these a wipe down, reset your, readjust your suspension settings, your rebound springs like that, and then should be good to go. You may get some oil just around the legs area. Give them a try. Make sure they go down and rebound slow, they don't just spring up like this. Nice and smooth, which they are. You can see that ring around there, look. That's just pushing the excess oil out, so don't worry about that. Try the other one. Yeah, both feel same, happy with that. Get them on the bike. Right. So a quick look at the tools and what we've used. We've got our fork seal driver, it splits in half, pretty good tool. It's coated in there so you don't scratch your fork legs. Our wonderfully engineered bit of welding wire. I mean, I was going to actually make some kind of screw thread, like a screwdriver sort of thing with a nut on the end of it, just to fish out the damping rod. I will do it probably a little bit better than using that welding wire in the future. I like making my own tools. This is the collet for the fork seal driver. It goes in that way. It's adjustable so you can use it on different forks. That's our old, what I call it, spray gun spanner thing, which I've bent and cut in there just so it traps the locking nut. And of course our geniusly made, fabricated retaining spring press thing, whatever. So you can buy these, but obviously it's simple to make if you've got a welder and stuff like that, or by other means. So that's the tools that we've been using. I'm going to find some of these online and like I said, get a link in the descriptions of the videos so you can click on those and buy them. Alright. Boom!